Hi there, I'm Reine and today I'm going to talk about why Mount tokens are not good content. Now, crafting and gathering is my favorite content in this game, so when we got the Ronique token, I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy that there was something I could get by gathering. But it was fine as long as it was just a one-time thing, because getting the orange scripts isn't really that, how should I say it nicely? Now you can get orange scripts, which then can be traded for these Mount tokens. You can get them by doing the weekly custom deliveries, gathering from timed nodes as a botanist and miner, fishing and gathering normal nodes as botanist and miner. Now I would say that the normal nodes are out of the question because they give you so little of the scripts that it's not worth gathering from them, because the timed nodes you can pour all your GP into them and get a lot more, even if you have to wait over almost 6 minutes until the node spawns. Fishing is a good alternative, but it's not as reliable as this, so I wouldn't really fish for the scripts either. And custom deliveries can only be done once a week, so you do it once a week and then you have to wait a week. Now, why the Mount token is not good content comes from the fact that the timed nodes are the best and most reliable and probably even fastest way to gather scripts for the tokens. And the timed nodes are shit. Let's just put it bluntly. They are shite. Not because of how they give the items, because even now I got 9 of these rarefied acacia logs. Each of them will give me 38, or is it 39, somewhere around those lines, orange scripts. So it's a good amount of scripts for just that little bit of doing, right? Yeah. The problem I have with this is that now these nodes spawn every 2 hours and hours, which translates to 5 minutes and 50 seconds in real time. So now I have to wait. Let's say it takes me around 2 minutes to gather from that node and fly to the next one. Now I have to wait almost 4 minutes until the next node spawns. And 4 minutes isn't really enough time to start doing anything and commit to it. So I'm just kind of waiting for the next node, because if I wanted to craft, I would probably have to use crafting food, and then I would have to override my gathering food. And I would probably want to use a potion, so I would have to override the spirit pond potion that I use. If I wanted to do fates, I would have to have a fate somewhere so that I don't have to fly to the fate and then fly to the node. Because the time it takes to fly from the node to the fate and back is probably enough so that you can't even finish the fate before the node is up. So the nodes are up really slowly if you don't do anything, but really fast if you try to do anything. So you can't really commit to doing anything else. And, you know, if it takes even a little bit over 2 minutes, or let's say it takes 3 minutes to gather from a node because you got really good Eureka moment procs and revisit proc. So it takes you around 3 minutes. you still have to wait 3 minutes, and now there's even less time you could start doing anything else. So you just wait. And I did some calculations. You can get around 3 Mount tokens per hour. Around 3, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how much your Eureka moments proc and how much your revisit procs. So it takes 100 Mount tokens to get 1 Mount. So it would take around 33 hours to get Mount tokens for 1 Mount. Now you might be thinking, 33 hours, that's nothing. This is an MMORPG. We're supposed to spend time playing it. We're supposed to engage in these long farms. It's fun. And I agree. I love that. I love the fact that there's content to do that I can play and use time on in the game that I want to play. But here's the thing. Like I said earlier, you're waiting around 3 minutes even if you use 3 minutes on the nodes and flying to the next node. That's half of the time of going from one node to another and waiting. So if it takes you 33 hours to get 1 Mount with the 100 tokens, half of that time you were just standing, like I am doing right now in the game. I'm just standing, waiting for the node, probably watching a video or playing another game on the side, or even doing IRL stuff, which is not playing the video game that I sat down to play. 33 hours, of which half is used not even playing the game. And that's the thing. That makes me so mad, because I'm very passionate about crafting and gathering. It's my favorite content. And this is what we get. The game is just basically saying, don't even play me, just keep me open on the background and don't even play me. I'm not gonna give you anything, so you can just sit down and focus on the game you sat down to play. So yeah, 33 hours, so is that like 16 hours of doing nothing? Nice. Why not just give us another island sanctuary that we can keep our subscriptions up and go every week for 5 minutes to press some buttons and then log out for the rest of the week? Since I think people usually want to know, like, what would you do then to fix this? What would you do to fix this? Do you have any better options? Here's my, well, I have multiple things that could be done to, like, make this even slightly more interesting, even slightly more, like, so that it's not just this going from node to node, waiting for 3 minutes, 4 minutes every node, and then gathering. My best idea was that we could get the orange scripts, not by this method, because this is, honestly, this is BS. We could get them like we get the, what is it called? The ephemeral nodes, I don't know how to say it. The nodes where you gather from and then you can ethereal reduce the items into sand. If orange script gathering nodes were like those, it would mean that for a time there's nothing to gather, and then I don't know if it's an hour or 40 minutes before them, but there's like enough time you can do something else. And then you go gather, they are up for 10 minutes, you gather as much as you can, and then you're done. And then you continue again after an hour or so. I think that would be the best one, because then you'd engage in the gathering for that whole 10 minutes, and then you could do something else in the game. And not this waiting 3 minutes gathering or playing the game for another 3 minutes, then waiting half and half, not really playing the game but playing the game. Another is if we could get the tokens by other methods, maybe with the purple scripts. They could be much more expensive with purple scripts, but then we could use even those. Also, why not include crafting? Why is this just a gathering thing? Of course, then there's the fact that some people would just focus on the crafting part because it's much faster and easier to get the tokens, but also the prices could be made so that gathering and crafting would both be viable options. The other one is cheaper but takes a little longer time, and the other one is, well, they would take around the same time because the other one you would have to work more for, but you know, options. And then there's the one non-timed node, which currently gives, if you have 1000 collectability, it gives 20 scripts every time. That's half of what you can get from the timed nodes 1000. The timed nodes give you almost 40 scripts. So they could just increase that, I guess, to make it a viable option that you can choose. Do you want to sit around and do nothing and get the scripts by gathering from the timed nodes, or do you want to gather actively and get them from the non-timed nodes? But currently I don't think that as an option, because the difference is so big, and by the time you've used your GP and gathered from the non-timed nodes, you could have gotten much more scripts from the timed nodes. But you're trading away the fact that you're not playing the game, you're just standing there. Like, again, now I just have to wait. There's nothing to do. And it's not it's not that fun. I opened this game to play this game, and the content we have is something that is telling us to do something else and just have this game open in the background. So yeah, what do you think about this fact that the content we are currently playing is just 15 hours of standing around and 15 hours of actually playing the game? Because I don't like it. And the fact that they made the Runic tokens into Mount tokens makes me scared that there will be a third one, maybe even a fourth one. Just every patch we're gonna get a Mount that we get by gathering orange scripts. Because 2 Mounts, that's 60 hours, and half of that time we'll just be standing here. So we'll be offking in the game for 30 hours. And that's the gameplay. And I do not wish for that. You add 1 more mount to that and it's 15 hours more of just standing around. Another on that and suddenly we are spending 60 hours gathering and 60 hours standing around, AFKing. So yeah, well that's all. I don't like Mount tokens. I think the system or how we can farm scripts, it needs to change, or there needs to be more options for how to get the Mount tokens. I don't even mind if they reused the Firmament and Diadem. I would much rather have new rewards from there, even if they have to add a 100 level craft or gathering points or something. I wouldn't mind if they reused old content like that. Anything that lets me play the game, I sit down to play, instead of opening the game and then doing something else while the game is open on the background. Anyways, if you watched all of this, let me know. What do you think about this? Do you see this as a problem? I know some people enjoy the fact that you can just get the tokens like this. Some people want to do something else and then have the Final Fantasy in the background, but for me this feels like they could just give the mounts as a reward from the achievement vendor or something, because at this point why are we even logging into quote-unquote play the game? I just want to play. I just want to play the video game. Thanks.